Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to today's webinar, Self-Awareness for Success. My name is Sheba Forbes, and I will be walking you through this whole webinar, excuse me. And what I thought we could do is start with a fun fact. And the fun fact is that according to Forbes magazine, only 15% of the world are self-aware. Interesting, right? Now, I'm not going to misrepresent what this webinar is going to be all about in terms of it's not going to make you immediately in that bracket of 15%. However, what I can tell you is that it's absolutely going to move you further along in your own understanding of self-awareness for success than 85% of the population. So that's kind of interesting, right? So hopefully that's enough to keep you till the end and that you'll find some value out of this content. What I'm going to do, so I really want you to understand, is there's going to be a lot of slides because I think that the visual is going to help kind of complement what I'm going to say in the words. And it's just going to make it easier for you to focus on the subject matter. Now, I apologize for the scarf. I'm having some muscle spasms, and the scarf is much more attractive than the towel that the doctor gave me. But anyways, just wanted to explain or acknowledge what that is around my neck. Okay, so basically I'm going to turn off my camera now. I'm going to share my screen with you, and let's go. Let's make it happen. So turn off my camera. Share my screen with you. Go to the PowerPoints, which is the one that we want is this one. And ta-da, here we are. All right, so just to kind of keep moving along here. Why is this not working? I see. So share. Right, no, I do have to, there we go. Okay, so as I said, the slides are for you to be focusing on along with the workbook. And just want to kind of quickly tell you a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Sheba Forbes. And basically for the past 2 decades, I've been working primarily and exclusively as an executive life coach. And I'm trained and I'm certified. And I'm a success catalyst for my clients in that they are already, firing off most of their cylinders, but are looking for that elusive little extra to put them over the top in their own success. And to that point, one of the executives that I worked with at one of the world's most powerful multinationals mandated that the work that he and I do together would earn him the position of CEO of this multinational. And that's what I did. I delivered. And he's publicly stated that and accredited his ascension into that role to the work that we've done together. He went, though, specifically from $500,000 a year to $12 million a year. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, I can't even get my head around that. But anyways, and it's not to boast or anything. It's just to simply show you and tell you that this process works and it can do the exact same for you. You may not yet have decided that you're going to be the CEO of a multinational, and it may not even be something that you want. However, I do invite you to really get clear on what you want for your life. How will you measure it at the end of the day? So the successful proven process that I've been using for the past 20 years is what we're going to be focusing on now. And one thing that's become really clear to me is that self-aware people have a very competitive advantage and are more successful as a result of it. But yet, go back to our fun fact, like only 15% of the world know how to use their self-awareness to realize big results. So clearly there's something there that's missing, that there might be some value in people maybe re-looking at, reframing how they're approaching their whole strategy. I'm also a published author. My second book will be available in bookstores later this year. And net, I'm successful because of my self-awareness. And I know that this process will move you forward in your life too, if you so choose that. So basically, the agenda for today is fairly obvious. I mean, not fairly obvious, but it's here. Invite you to shut down your devices, minimize your distractions. We just want you to be able to focus on yourself, right? Take any notes. Absolutely, because I have been doing this for so long, I may go faster than is useful for you, but this is all about you and for you. So please make sure that you get understanding if I have done that. And just ask that you leave those questions till the end of our webinar, because that way I can stay focused and we can keep on moving along here. So basically, what I want you to know is that just life has taught me, probably like it's taught you lots of different things, that we empower ourselves when we focus on increasing our awareness. Now, that's awareness about everything, not just self awareness. And with increased awareness of anything, it's easier to realize the choices we have available to ourselves in life. It's no different with self awareness, right? The more you know and understand who you are and what your success triggers are, the better choices you're going to make. And people are predictable. You're predictable. I'm predictable. And it's been a scientifically established fact. And therefore, that means that we have more control than we realize if we just take the time to understand that there's a method to our madness. When you understand your success triggers through greater self awareness, um, you're going to have more consistent, or you're going to be able to have, you've positioned yourself to be able to secure more consistent, satisfying, and sustainable results. It's this predictability amongst humans, individuals, that empowers us to be in control and have an organized, orderly life, however we define that. So the easiest way to be more self-aware, as it says in the slide, these are the three areas we're going to talk about, but the easiest way to be more self-aware is kind of the doorway into success, is by understanding your personality first and foremost. Personality matters because it's what dictates how we process, operate, experience life, and feel. Now, many of us have lived complicated lives and probably cringe at the thought of being predictable, because we often kind of confuse predictability with being simple or common. But the predictability isn't a reflection of our character. It's a function of behavioral science. Personality traits, as it stands, never change unless three specific things happen. One, we're in a drug-induced state. Two, we've experienced a life-altering emotional event. Or three, had a spiritual awakening. Otherwise, science says that our traits are fixed. And not just that they're fixed, is that we all have two very unique and specific personality traits um, that are uniquely ours. And when we consistently and effectively lead with these two traits, that's when we're achieving our best results. Now, a lot of us kind of already get that, but we don't get it enough to understand that it's about the consistency of doing those actions, leading with those values that make the difference. And so what we're trying to do today is just take away the hit and miss approach that a lot of us kind of live with, and try to bring more control to you. See, the more you understand what these two traits are for you, the more consistently you're going to realize success. While we can't control the people and the places or the things out there, the beauty of it is that with consistency of application of our best, life will and can only be satisfying. Now, your two strongest traits may differ from my two strongest traits, and that's okay. That's not even what it's about. What matters, and all that really matters, is that you know and understand to consistently lead with the best of you. Remember, there's many roads that lead to Rome. And as long as you find the road that enables you to shine as the diamond you are, well, then you're on your way to success. Now, understanding your unique personality is the gateway to your success. There is and always will be a direct correlation between the quality of your life and your self awareness. You're beautiful, you're unique, and you're worthy of being understood. So, unless you understand yourself, how can anybody else understand you? How do you communicate effectively what you need to be your best? The reality is, you deserve to be and feel more in control of your life. We all do, and it's absolutely possible. Now, too many people think that they don't need to focus on self awareness and deeper understanding because they already know themselves, or at least they should. And so it kind of is like, why would I make more effort? Like, if I do that, what am I saying? That I don't know myself, that I don't know how to be successful? Well, okay, and what if that was what you were saying? I know that I had zero idea of how to get to where I wanted to get to, how to reach my objectives. And there is zero shame in needing to or wanting to deepen your self awareness. That is the only way we're going to get to where we're going. And so, while I understand why people don't freely let themselves do that, it's only at their expense. Now, remember, I'm here to tell you that very few people, not enough of us, know our true success triggers. We know what society and life tells us we need to do in order to be successful. But I'm sure many of you have already realized, well, wait a minute, it's not actually playing out the way that I was told it would play out if I followed these things that actually don't even inspire me, anyways. Remember what Fortune magazine says, only 15% of the world are self aware. So, it's clearly something about stepping out from the pack. There's no way around it. Self awareness is a process and a journey. And it's a path, though, that we all must travel in order to realize our purpose. So we intuitively know that self awareness matters. Yet, as we've said, according to that 15%, too many of us choose to not understand ourselves more. And especially when it comes to being women, too many of us women play small and don't realize the position of strength that we can come from. Look, it doesn't have to be that way. Ladies, get clear on who you really are, your potential. Know and understand what you've got to work with so you can realize the success that you were created to have. Make more money, be more fulfilled, claim your throne as the queen you are. Now, your values are the keys to your castle, which is the next thing that we'll cover in this webinar. And inside your castle is where the third concept for this webinar will be. That's where your vision, and that's where your vision awaits you, inside your castle, which you will get to by leading with your personality. See how it's all connected? Knee bone's connected to the hip bone. So, self-awareness makes our visions easier to recognize, believe in, and accept and manage. So now the question becomes just one for you to either jot down in your workbook or just take mental note of. Do you have a vision for your life that you accept and seek to advance? Now, if you aren't aware of your vision yet, that's absolutely okay. It's there. I assure you it's there without even knowing you, sight unseen, because your personalities and values work together to form a vision. You've got a personality, and if you have a personality, you've got values. And those two together are going to lead you to an ultimate vision for success. Now you're sitting on a pot of gold. You have so much more inside of you than you ever knew. You've been designed and created to succeed. So tap into your sizzle as a queen. A self-aware woman is a sexy woman because she embraces her essence. Know your personality. I'm going to introduce you to the 7 personality traits that drive high performance and guide you to identify, just in our so short time together, your 2 strongest traits, if you can kind of, if that's easy for you. Values, well, they're powerful and they are your success enablers, and all successful people, consciously or unconsciously, lead with them. The more you understand your personality and your values, the more certain will be your success. We're going to conclude the webinar by touching on the concept of vision. Bottom line is that self-awareness is your map forward to success. Follow your unique path, and you cannot, will not fail. It's a guarantee because everything flows from who you are. So now let's start with owning your power. Behavioral science has established that there are 7 personality traits that establish high performance and determine high performance, power, sexiness, and life. We all have these 7 traits, but they manifest differently for each of us. You already know that since each you already know that, right? Because each of us has a different personality style and a way that we approach life. And that's a function of our personality. It's your personality traits that dictate so much more than you realize, maybe. How you think, not less about what you think about, and it's more about how you think. How do you process and respond to everything that you face? Because remember, people are predictable. So you're starting to see why the business case is there for how self awareness is truly a success enabler. So think about how cool that is. Your actions, your personality, and your values are all part of your hardwiring. So how you think, how you respond, and how you process is absolutely perfect for you. So ask yourself, though, how intentionally do you focus on being and doing as a perfect you are? Well, you know what? A couple questions come up with even that question. It assumes that you even know who you are, and therefore, next assumption is that you, upon knowing, would automatically just know how to apply that for more success and better results in your life. So, unfortunately, since 15%, in fact, only know that, it's really hard to hit a home run each time. And well, you may not hit a home run, at least maybe you'll get a grand slam, or you'll certainly at least make it to second. So, the other option is what? That you just keep second guessing yourself? That's really no fun. That's certainly not confidence inducing. So why not, instead of using that second guessing yourself, why not use that same energy to better understand yourself and increase your self-awareness objectively? See, the more you let yourself be the person you were born to be, the better and more fulfilling all your results will be. Now that makes sense. You know that it makes sense. Everything in life is like that. If we use our weed whacker to do our nails, we know what we're going to get. So it's just not really useful. Um, Anyways, your destiny is abundance. It's opulence and it's joy. And you have everything it takes to be more successful. But do you truly understand your potential enough to realize what's waiting for you, the success that's waiting for you? This webinar is to help you get started on the journey and invite you to get curious about what your potential is and what you're capable of achieving. Oops. So seize the new year. It's a great time. You know, we're still only in the first quarter. Adopt a clearer sense of your brilliance because, you know, ultimately you become who you are. But how can you do that without really knowing who you are so that you can reach further, kind of look at things differently? You were meant to be a queen who lives in opulence, who's loved and respected as a person of influence, who makes the world a better place. Yep, you. It's your birthright. When that's not clear to a woman, though, she tends to play small and hold back and ultimately misses out on the abundance that God had planned for her. You were designed to thrive, not just survive, and all you need to do is believe you can. I'll say it again. You already have everything you need to claim your throne as the queen you are. The only way you can go wrong is by not being true to who you are. 2020 is here, ladies. This is your chance. It's a time to be huge. That's your destiny. Yet, too many of us women are playing small. Why? I understand, I acknowledge and recognize that too many of us play small. But what I invite you to do is really understand why you might be playing small. I played small till I was about 30, and it's only then that I became self-aware of my potential. And it was an easy first step. It took me 15 minutes, but let me tell you this, that 15 minutes was the best use of my 15 minutes I can remember. It was my game changer in every way imaginable. And it's why I love introducing others to the same powerful process. Who knows what's possible? So you already know that for the past 2 decades, I've been working with CEOs and senior executives and focused on delivering high performance results. But my new awareness also led me to be on the Prime Minister of Canada's task force for women entrepreneurs. It gave me the courage to be a delegate on 2 government-sponsored trade summits. When I tapped into my values, I let myself stretch more. In fact, I became featured, profiled, and quoted in regional, national, and international media, including the cover of a magazine, as a subject matter expert. I was recognized and nominated as one of the top 40 under 40 in Canada for my business success, results, and vision. And I believe that if you increase your awareness and develop your personal potential, you too will tap into your God given potential and fill the huge space that you were created to fill. So let's get started. Okay, so each of you have a workbook with exercises that we're going to walk through in the webinar. Be sure to revisit the workbook on your own time as well, because our time together is short. So it's just long enough for you to get curious about your potential. If you don't have the workbook, the URL's in the chat bar and you can download it now. Fact of the matter is we're in a new decade, and this is your decade for opportunity. Your year to set the tone. These are the months now to set the tone for this next decade. You have that control, and it's possible. And today I think is a day that you're going to get started. People never reach their limits. They only think they do. And that's on page 5 of your workbook. Never forget that. Print it out and stick it on your bathroom mirror. In the workbook, as you can see, I use a client of Map Forward to make the concepts easier to understand. I've renamed her Betty for the webinar. And before Betty took the time to better understand her personality, she didn't give much thought as to how she did things. She lacked awareness of her potential. But once she realized that her potential truly was limitless, she began to focus on her personality and values. And in your workbook on page 7, you see the 7 traits established by science for high performance. And on the slides here that you'll see is a copy of the graph that my clients receive. And it's kind of what I said to you about that powerful 15 minutes. It's a comprehensive, objective overview of a person's personality. And when a person sees themselves this way, it's so much easier to understand our strengths, our blind spots, and so much easier to confidently assert for what you want, identify your values, and start walking towards your vision. You begin immediately to increase your self-awareness and self-understanding without having had to do any deep introspection or any complicated, psychoanalysis or anything like that, because that's not what this is about. This is just about understanding who you are now, not what made you that way, although there's value in doing that. It's really about just understanding, okay, this is me. What do I need to do? How can I better work with this? So like I said, each of us has all of these 7 traits, and they play out differently in each of us. And that's why an approach that works for you may not work for me, or what works for me may not work so well for you. It just depends on our hardwiring. So the more we understand the natural sets of behaviors that we've been kind of hardwired with, and we understand our motivators, all of which we didn't ask to have, and they may even feel sometimes inconvenient, but that doesn't really matter. The more we can understand these things, the more effective we're going to be. And that was true for Megan. She always felt like she was too intense, and so she tried to dampen her style. But that's what she did, at least, until she understood that her style is perfectly her. This is who she was designed to be. She was created to be intense. So now that obviously immediately dictates a lot of things, right? The people that she's going to be able to be most comfortable and natural with, the kinds of employment situations, the kinds of people that she's compatible with from a dating perspective. Just knowing that one piece of information rather than regretting or wishing you that wasn't so, kind of turning that frown upside down and saying, I was created to be this intense. I wonder what that's about. And if you take that approach, and that's really what self-awareness is all about, you have the opportunity to transform your whole life. So the more you understand your personality and identity, the more you're going to understand your purpose and your destiny. It is so worth the effort. I can't tell you, yeah, it's just so worth the effort. When you understand and know your personality strengths, you can better flow, perform, focus strategically and confidently with motivation, achieve the objectives that you were designed to achieve. What you don't know or understand about yourself leaves you vulnerable to life because you end up guessing or bluffing your way through it every day. And when we do that, like we're just like falling so short of our personal excellence. So you see the graph and you see in the middle of the page with the zero and the average, that's the central line of everybody, okay? And everybody has a left and a right side. And our personality traits are the same. We have a left side to our personality trait or a right side to our personality trait. The personality trait is constant. The side in which our personality trait stands out is very unique and specific to us. So, what I'm going to do is just quickly go over what these 7 traits are. And I want you to really try to understand which side of that trait you'd be on. So assertiveness, you see that's pretty straightforward. And so assertiveness is really about someone who likes to focus primarily on asserting. Well, not somebody, it's how much we like to focus on asserting. Some like to focus on asserting for consensus and harmony. And if so, they're on the left side. Some like to assert for results and enjoy risk taking. If so, they're on the right side. Which side are you on? It's not about right or wrong. It's perfect who you are. Just which side are you on? Are you more consensus and harmony oriented, or are you more results oriented? Sociability, it's really about, our ability, our desire to be more focused on information and data and numbers and work alone, or someone who's more focused on people related activities. It's not about right or wrong. If you think that you're more of a data, numbers, work alone kind of person, then you would be on the left. And if you're someone who's more focused on people related activities, you'd be on the right. Just identify for yourself, are you more information and working alone focused, or are you more people focused? And pace, which is the next trait, is about the speed of your processing. Are you somebody who likes to focus with a sense of urgency? Or are you someone who likes to be methodical and process oriented? If you have a sense of urgency, you're on the left side. If you're more methodical, you're on the right side. It's not about good or bad when we talk about sides. It just is. It's how the psychometric and the logarithms have been set up to produce results. Yeah, to spit out these results, this data. Detail orientation. Are you someone who likes to focus on and pay attention to detail? Or are you someone who likes to think big? Just identify which of those you really are. Are you a results-oriented person? Are you a consensus-oriented person? Pick which one of those two you are. Are you a data person or are you a relationship person? Pick which one of those two you are. Are you a sense of urgency kind of person or a more methodical type of thinker? Pick which one you are. Detail orientation. Do you love details or do you love the big picture? Just, it's not really rocket science, but it's awareness, right? So we're starting with just self-awareness. Now, the other 3 traits, they matter, but they're secondary traits. Those top 4 traits are your core competencies. They are the traits that most matter in achieving results in life. The second 3 traits are behavioral adaptability. I'm just going to go over them quickly so you've got kind of some, wowie zowie kind of cocktail, water tank, water bottle conversation pieces. These 3 traits, because most people don't know these 7 traits, period, and specifically these 3 traits. Behavioral adaptability is about your ability to adapt your behavior. Some people are really good at it, some people aren't. Emotiveness it's about whether we process from our head or we process from our heart. Some people process, but it really matters because everything kind of passes through that filter at some point, emotion or logic. And the last trait is creativity, which is self explanatory. Some people have a need to think outside of the box and some people don't. Basically, what we're looking at now is just understanding that these 3 traits I've seen with lack of awareness have allowed clients to really skew their own sense of self. So don't let that happen. You really could know everything you need to know in order to be more successful and certainly to be more self-aware. And don't try to tell yourself you should already know this. It's impossible. How could you? How would you? It isn't a simple thing or easy thing to have because we're just way too complex and wonderful, especially as women. And there's so many variables that have kind of contributed to make us the person we are. And rather than just kind of finding yourself living off of an autopilot that you don't even understand, take the time to understand it better. We all benefit from these kinds of pattern interrupts that empower and motivate people. And I'm absolutely happy to, share this profiling system with you if that's something you'd like. But right now, we're just going to keep going in terms of content. We have a finite amount of time together, and I got to get you through 3 specific concepts. So in the workbook on page 8 and 9, you have questions that you can work through on your own. I just want to help you know how to kind of answer them. So question 1, which asks, which of the 2 top 4 personality traits net you your best results? Well, just remember that if it's your caring nature or your boldness, then assertiveness would be. If it's your relationship skills or your expertise with information, then sociability would be one of your strongest traits. If it's your high energy or your methodical nature, it doesn't matter which one, pace would be your strongest trait. If it's your attention to detail or to the bigger picture, then detail orientation would be one of your strongest traits. Now, the other questions you can answer in the same way on your own time. And if you have any questions, absolutely, please know that we've met, we've come together for a reason. You can absolutely schedule a quick chat with me to better understand and answer your questions. I'm doing this now because I want to see more powerful, empowered, educated, successful women out there in regards to everything that they've been blessed with and bring to the table of life. So now, self-awareness is just about knowing and understanding the success triggers in your personality, what your values are, and then letting yourself identify and claim that vision. Some of the benefits of self-awareness are listed for you in your workbook. So what I just invite you to do for yourself is circle the areas that you want to focus more on developing in 2020, in this decade, in order to advance to this whole next level of your life. Now's your time. Make this decade work for you on your terms. So give some thought as to what kind of plan you're going to put in place for your transformation. Now, the point is that people never reach their limits, right? They only think they do. It's all about your mindset. Believe you can be an even better version of yourself and ensure that you set yourself up for success in 2020 and beyond. Get ready to claim your throne as the queen you are. So let's look at the second concept I promised for this webinar, which is values. And what you see in the workbook is all around Betty and her values. But let me tell you this, things started to change for her when she learned her values. And she was surprised that they could have so much influence on her success. But really, when you think about it, it makes sense, right? Because we each have unique values that have been assigned to you personally in order to be successful and live a life of purpose. We all have shared values, absolutely, because we have a universal consciousness. We all know kindness and justice and love are good things. But what differentiates us is where the unique values have been assigned. But most people don't give enough time and pay attention to their unique values. But as a result, they They kind of lose their uniqueness. But why? Or they hide their uniqueness. You can't ever lose it because you are who you are. But you can silence it and not work with it. But when we engage our values, our results in relationships and our quality of life are better. And I know it seems far fetched to think quality transformation is possible just by incorporating personal values, which really are your key feelings. But I'm telling you, it's absolutely possible. And when people think that it's not, it's because we're not brought up to focus on our personal values. Generally speaking, we're taught to do what everybody else is doing and what society wants. But when a person's self aware, they're empowered and they walk to their own beat. And if they're not, well, they just tend to do things like everybody else, even though what works for them isn't necessarily working for us. But it's, it's a behavior we're most familiar with, so we just keep trying. If we work hard enough, if we try hard enough, eventually something's going to shift. But isn't that also the definition of insanity, to keep trying the same things over and over, expecting and thinking that we'll possibly get different results? No, we've got to just tweak things a little bit. It may be a brilliant strategy for somebody else. Tweak that strategy to make it work for you. Don't spend your life trying to make someone else's approach work for you. Focus your time and energy on making your style work for you. And those who make this effort to understand their values are amongst the most successful and happy in life. There's no way around the fact that self awareness is a process. It's just like learning how to read, work, drive, love, live. It's all a process. And unless you learn what and how to be your best, chances are you won't be. It's not really that much different from our iPhones, our smartphones, right? I mean, if the more we understand the features of it, the more we get out of it. So seize this moment in your life and live your best life now. Realize your potential. You are meant to thrive, not just survive. And by advancing in your life, you'll have more joy, more money, more opportunity, and more success. Whatever your goal is, you're going to have it because you have that goal, that vision for yourself, because it's possible. Your personality and your values will lead you to it. You've got to do the homework, the due diligence. Or, of course, don't, and just torture yourself knowing that you have a vision and that you have hopes, dreams, and potential, and they just may stay dormant inside of you. But I don't know why you do that. Who would benefit? You already have everything you need to be successful. You just have to do your part and find that power within. Become who you were meant to be. You're so much more than your education, your upbringing, your parents, or your looks. So make the effort to understand your potential so that none of your greatness is left untapped. These kind of psychometric assessments, like you saw, the graph with the 7 traits, they're sophisticated and exclusive, and they're not available to the consumer market. They are only a business to business offering. But the thing is, they are the best, most efficient way to increase your self-awareness. They don't require a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of anything. You just kind of answer the questions and boom, pops out 90%. Most of my clients report the accuracy of these profiles from being anywhere from 85% and higher. So if you think about that, that's pretty amazing. And that's, I guess, the power of artificial intelligence. Anyways, we got to keep moving. Um, as I said, personality is the easiest, best, most direct way to get to start that journey truly on your terms and live your best life and really thrive. Your values are absolutely of optimal use once you even know your personalities more, because the two most often complement each other, but they don't always. And if I ever had to choose between values and personality, I always go with values. Your values are your spiritual DNA. They've been assigned to you by your creator. Those are your ticket to success. So with understanding of your personality, it's so much easier to be intentional, confident, and on purpose. So you've got questions in your workbook. Everything is about understanding your competitive edge in life so you can be more competitive and more successful. And it involves your personality traits and it involves your values. Now, page 11 of the workbook are some questions for you to answer. Jump to question 3. Let me tell you quickly about Nicole. She's on her own. She doesn't have the kind of conversations or relationships that truly help her advance in her life. She knows that she wants more, but she doesn't, but she also knows that others will judge her for kind of stepping outside of the box. She's highly creative though. And, that's when and how she thrives when she steps out of the box. So she began developing her values and the values that she's admired as well as the values that she has. She's admired courage. And, when she combined her creativity with her courage, she really kind of course, I'm going fast forward, so I'm giving you guys just the bottom line. But she realized it was ultimately just about being her own boss, and believing that she could do it, and seeing what how her personality traits set her up to do it, and what she needed to do more of in order to make what wasn't naturally um, easy for her to become behaviors that she could adapt. So I respected Nicole's approach. She gave thought to how she wanted her life, and she identified the values that she wanted that would get her there. And then she worked on mastering it. It truly is that easy because you were set up to succeed. So never forget that. Now, circle the goals that you've got for yourself in the workbook for 2020. And again, it's just for you to have in your workbook so you can reflect later on. Now, the last concept we're going to go to is vision. If you feel limited by your personality, you can reframe your perception of it. You've been designed with everything you have and need to succeed. And I keep saying that because you got to understand this isn't just rah. It's me telling you from a scientific, high performance, spiritual, metaphysical perspective that you have everything you need to succeed. And with a somewhat solid sense of yourself, even you're going to be more inclined to focus on the vision you have for yourself and your life. So Betty, she never really considered having a vision for her life or considering what she wanted. But when she increased her self-awareness, um, she it led her to her visions, the visions that she'd been dismissing, thinking them impossible and outside of her realm of who she's known herself to be. But when she reconsidered her visions through the lens of her personality and her values, her visions made complete sense to her and she was motivated to advance them. I'm not saying that it's ever obvious or simple. I'm just telling you that the first step is self awareness because without it, it's too easy to lose faith in yourself and give up. But don't give up. It'll be the worst thing you could do because you can do anything. So choose to always choose in favor of what advances you. Increase your self awareness so you can believe in yourself. Do you have a vision for this new decade? You have questions in your workbook to help you identify your goals and your vision. And unless you know yourself, you are not really ever going to um, realize your potential. So use page 15 on your workbook to set what goals and visions you can come up with for your transformation. Now, what you know and understand, when you know and understand your personality, you can feel more confident about your choices and confidently take more risk so that you move forward in your life. Too many women are playing small, but you're really a superhero inside. And in my experience, self-awareness is always the answer. Create transformation in your life by using your self-awareness as a strength-based strategy. Remember, you have everything it takes to have all that you desire. So my intention for you today was to advance, inform, and educate you on the power of self-awareness and to give you some tips on how you can immediately be more self-aware. Be and feel empowered by the beauty and magnificence of you. In this short time together, you've allowed the seeds of possibility and potential to be planted. Your personality, your values, and your vision for life. I've included some personal reflection introspection questions for you as well that you can consider. And really, ultimately, my only objective in this webinar and giving you this workbook is the hope that the power of self-awareness becomes abundantly clear to you, so you leverage everything you have and have more satisfying results in your life. And the bottom line is this: you have more control than you realize. Now, if you'd like to receive a copy of your own personality profile and learn how to better manage and direct your personality and values into your life professionally and personally, sign up for our new, unique, exciting, and exclusive 4-week course. Today was less than an hour together. When you sign up for the course, you're going to be receiving, over 20 hours, or approximately 20 hours of, hardcore, deeper, in-depth understanding of how you can apply your personal personality profile, um, in your personality traits, understanding your values, and owning your vision. You get 5 weekly sessions with me, and we'll expand upon it all. This course is about you and it's for you. So, um, if you do choose this option, you're going to be required immediately to complete a questionnaire. And upon doing so, you're going to receive an exclusive, scientifically valid psychometric profile of your personality, a form of artificial intelligence. Now, my executive clients, they pay $5,000 a month for what you're going to be receiving at the government registered nonprofit price of Map Forward at 1/5 of the cost. Okay. If you're ready to achieve transformation in your life and you want to increase your self awareness objectively, now's your time. Also, as a result of the webinar, what I'm offering is a buy one, get one free opportunity. So if you have a girlfriend that you, or a sister, or a cousin, or an aunt, or a mom, or a daughter, or anybody that you think could benefit from knowing this information as well, absolutely share it with them. We've got to create the movement. We've got to put it in motion. It's not about hashtags. It's about taking control without compromise. So let's do that. Let's do it together. Check out the URL for the course landing page for more information, or schedule a free chat with me to learn more. So if after module 1, there's absolutely a full money back guarantee, risk reversal, and before receiving your personality profile, so after session module 1, which is a whole week of, of, of sessions, but before completing your psychometric yourself, um, if you cancel before the psychometric, you have a full money back guarantee. If you cancel after you get your personality profile, however, you'll only receive 50% of your fees paid back, because there's a hardcore cost to the psychometric developer, since this is being offered to the consumer market via Map Forward, and that's not really how they roll. So you're the queen of you. Discover your potential. Realize your potential. No, discover your power and realize your potential. All right, so that's the webinar. I'm going to now take some questions and answers, and I love that there's so many of you here today. I'm going to stop with the what? How do I stop the that? Oh, I see. So I always struggle with this. Stop the share. No, I want to stop the recording. How do I stop the recording? That's very good to know. Okay, so start video, more, stop the share, stop recording.